Hey guys, this is Karthikeya Kantwal from Apex Finserv and I'm back with well fresh analysis for you for especially the expiry if not anything else. But I have still brought myself with myself an equity watch list for you guys. But before we begin, I'm sorry for the many breaks that I have been taking. It's just that I have been loaded with other commitments and to be honest, I have not been able to make time to create daily videos. But I do plan to get it back on track soon. Now, talking about the fresh trades for tomorrow on the equity side of things without wasting much time, the first that we have planned is a really simple structure based short approach on HDFC Bank. Now, as you can see, it has been making fresh lower low, lower highs with a big lower low being made recently, after which I do expect a decent pullback. Now, because of multiple things like the index not looking particularly bearish, we are not going for an aggressive short near 1430, but rather we are going for a conservative short near the closest available swing high instead of the swing low at 1445. Stop loss at 1465. Ideal targets 1% on the downside. Moving on to the second trade that we have is a simple demand zone based long entry at Mindtree at 2700. Now this is a really simple trade. It is self-explanatory by the chart itself. This has been a strong support level and it has been you can say cemented recently, because 2700 it did try to break but took a big upside move from there. That is exactly where we plan to go long, with the stop loss going near the closest available swing point at 2670. Ideal targets 1% on the upside. The third is on HCL Tech. Now HCL Tech has broken a really strong big number at 1000. That was to be a solid support in fact, but it is a level that has not been held even remotely strongly as it should have been. And to be honest, a good role reversal has already happened. It tried to break very strongly, but even that was not sustained. So we're going to go for a short exactly there. Also, it has been making small lower low, lower highs, so that's another confirmation. Stop loss at 1015. Ideal targets 1% on the downside. The fourth trade that we have is on ACC, where similar to Mindtree, we are going for a demand zone based long entry. However, it's not exactly a support level, but rather the closest available low swing point of a ongoing higher low formation. Stop loss going under that swing at 2325. Ideal targets 1% on the upside. The final trade that we have is on Titan, where again we are going to go for a long, because there's a big strong support available at 1700. That is a really good historical support as well, and it also happens to be the nearest low point of a ongoing higher low structure. Stop loss at 1675. Ideal targets 1% on the upside. Now moving on to the indices, because that is what you people seem to be most excited about. Talking first about Nifty. Now for tomorrow, I would say Nifty has a very strong trading range from 15650 to about 15725. So that's about 0.5% of trading range for Nifty. I do agree, but that it's not a big range and it's not a tradable range, but it's still a range nonetheless. For aggressive entries, I would rather advise you to go for counter trend trades near the upper supply zone or the lower demand zone, which would mean typically small aggressive short entries or multiple planned entries at 15775 to 15790, longs near 15600 or 15625 if you want to be really aggressive. If you want to go for a directional approach, then I would say wait for a strong closing above 15725 and then go for longs at a pullback near 15690, 15700. That would give you a decent RR of about 50 on the stop loss and 75 to 90 on the target side of at a minimum. Now when I talk about the option chain for Nifty, I have immediate resistance at 15700 with 2.3 million added contracts, significant at 15800 with negative change but total 9.9 million standing contracts. Support comes in at 15600 with 1.2 million added contracts, significant at 15500 with 1.4 million added contracts. Now judging just by the option chain, I would say that 15700 is a significant hurdle for now. If that is broken on the higher strikes, we do have negative change in open interest on the call side, so that does mean that the option writers are not really aggressively bearish as of now. Even when I look at the PCR of volume, that comes out to be at 0.85. So even the option buyers have not typically, not typically rather, but they just have not been aggressively bearish for today, or at least in today's trading session. Let's see what happens tomorrow. My approach is going to be pretty much of a non-directional motion for tomorrow, because I do expect a up move in the first half, but then sideways to slightly pull back in the second half. Moving on to the second index, which is Banknifty, the crowd favorite. Now on Banknifty too, we do have a trading range, but this one is a bit better than Nifty. Now going just by the charts, you can see that both of them are on a really similar structure-based approach right now. You have had this big sell-off and this pullback happening now. Same here, you have had this big sell-off and pullback happening now. So it is not the case where one index is outperforming or underperforming, whereas the other one is sagging or pulling. They are both in sync with each other, at least as of now. Now for Bank Nifty, I do have a trading range from 34,400 on the support level to 34,600 or 650 maximum on the top side, which means you do have a range of about 200 250 points, which is I guess 0.7 to 0.8%. So nothing big here, but it's still a range nonetheless. For Bank Nifty, I would not suggest to take range break approaches here, because the next zones are really close, and it doesn't really give you that lucrative of a risk reward ratio. However, for tomorrow, I would say that counter trend approaches can be rewarding on Bank Nifty, because the zones are placed pretty far away from the current market price, which means that even if you have a healthy momentum pulling on one side, there is a chance, or there is healthy possibility that the momentum is going to be slightly weakened, or at least the chances of a pullback or on the higher side by the moment it reaches the farther zones, which means you can plan aggressive shorts near 34,800 or 850, or longs near 34,200 or 34,150. Now this is my trading approach. I don't necessarily advise you to do the same. If you want to take directional approaches, you can go for longs about 34,650 or shorts under 34,350, whatever floats your boat. Going on the option chain for Bank Nifty, I have immediate resistance at 34,600 with 775,000 added contracts, significant at 35,000 with negative change, but total 2.2 million added contracts, standing contracts, not added. Support comes in at 34,500, of course, with 135,000 added contracts, significant at 34,100, pretty far away, with 287,000 added contracts. Now the option chain itself doesn't really indicate anything, but in the least it says that 34,600 is a significant hurdle, just like 15,700 was for Nifty. And if broken on the upside, we can see swift up moves at least till 34,800 or 34,850, and if that's broken too, we might even see 35,000 tomorrow. The PCR, however, the PCR of volume for Bank Nifty comes out to be at 1.02, which is aggressively bearish. So at least the option buyers have been buying lots of puts. Again, this is limited to today's trading session. I am not necessarily projecting the same PCR of volume for tomorrow. But on Bank Nifty, it does seem that you do have polarizing views, or far-fetched views between the option buyers and the option sellers, whereas on Nifty, they are pretty much in sync. So let's see what happens, but either case, I would follow the charts more than the option chain as always. Now tomorrow is the expiry, so I would advise you guys to trade cautiously. Don't jump into aggressive trades before the at least 30 to 45 minutes or 3 or 4 15 minutes candle closes, so that you can actually have a good sense of direction and a good sense of bias, and you're not just like heads or tails going into the market blind. Now this is it for today's video. These are all the charts that I had to share with you guys. Now I do know that I have been absent quite a lot, and to make up for it, I have a couple of things lined up. I am planning a option trading series, something like option buying or option writing. And for those of you who are aware about the Apex mentorship program, where I discuss, or I teach, you can say, one-on-one trading to people that do join in, I do have a promo offer or something of that sort coming up as well for the mentorship program. Simply to make up for the off time that I have to make it accessible for far more people than those that have already joined. Either way, I'll see you guys over the weekend. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and stay tuned to the channel, because there's a lot more content coming up soon. I hope you have a wonderful, green, but exciting trading session tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching once again. Have a good night. Bye.